Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is 3:48 on this chilly Thursday evening. It is 57 degrees outside. I stepped outside and I was like, it's kind of chilly out tonight. It's just crazy to think that 57 feels chilly, you know, because from winter to spring when it changes over, 57 is like a nice day, you know. I need to get my lip balm out. I slept really good tonight, which is a problem because then I'm gonna have a hard time falling back asleep. Is the deal here. Oh, first one, and I got my lip balm out, my cucumber melon lip balm. Yeah, I went to bed about 10 o'clock, so I slept for like, what is that, 5 hours? And I slept, Alex went to bed early too. I slept so deep, and I actually had good dreams tonight, but I don't remember what they were. I just know that they were good. I woke up like at one point at like 1 or 1:30, and I was like, I think it was actually more like 1:15. I was like, oh, I think I'll sleep for 10 more minutes. And then I woke up and it was like 3:30, and I was like, okay, you need to get up. So yeah, now I'm up. Today was a good day. Today was a very good day. Nothing really special out of the ordinary happened today. I have my water. I also have my Diet Pepsi, which I'm getting ready to pour. But I wanted water too tonight. Yeah, I mean, nothing out of the ordinary happened today. It was just a good day. Well, one thing did happen that was out of the ordinary, kind of. So, got up today, and Tanya and I had talked about how we wanted to get pedicures. My feet have been so bad, you guys, because I've needed a pedicure for so long, because I don't wear socks. I hate to wear socks, and even in the winter, I hate to wear socks. So, if I wear shoes, like, and even coming just to vlog in the winter, like, I would come out in, like, you know, plastic Birkenstocks, not like in the snow, but if it was like, you know, 40 outside, I would come out in, you know, plastic Birkenstocks. So I usually get a pedicure about every 4 to 5 weeks, something like that. I'm kind of weird about keeping my feet very good. I'm kind of weird about keeping my feet nice. Well, probably because I wear Birkenstocks a lot. I wear Birkenstocks almost exclusively, unless I go out to dinner. Or, I mean, if I go out to dinner, I even wear Birkenstocks. But unless I go out to, you know, like, something where I have to wear shoes, like to a nightclub or something like that, then I typically wear shoes. Well, I always wear shoes. I wouldn't wear sandals out to something like that. And if it's something dressy, then, you know, like, I have a couple cute pairs of, well, I used to wear Sperry's a lot. I haven't, though, in a couple years since I've gained weight, because they're not as comfortable on me as they used to be. That's part of it, is, like, the heavier that I am, it's more comfortable for me just to wear, like, sandals. So, I used to wear shoes a lot more. Well, obviously, like, when I was working and stuff. I love shoes. And I have a couple of really nice pairs. Like, Sperry makes really, they have these, it's called their gold ring, I think is what it's called, line, but it's like their upper echelon shoes that are like, they have better padding. They have better padding, and then they have they're just a nicer version of the shoes. So you can get like their regular shoes, or you can get like their gold ring shoes. Pay the difference. I will tell you, it makes a huge difference. So, especially if you're just going to get a regular pair of Sperry's. It makes such a huge difference. It's like some kind of down in so the regular ones are just like, you know, flat like boat shoes. Like, I love the old school boat shoes. It's what I wear a lot. Well, it's what I wore a lot. But if I typically wearing, like, I don't have a lot of different colors and stuff like that. I have a blue pair, but like, I don't think I've worn them but a few times. Now, Alex likes to wear all different kinds of boat shoes. And Interestingly enough, though, I think it was like last year or the year before, Alex got a pair of penny loafers, and I love penny loafers so much. Like, I used to wear them when I was in junior high. In my first year of high school, I wore penny loafers like all the time. And my mom had worn them when she was in high school. And I loved them. And Alex got a pair, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I think it was 2 years ago. And they're real shiny, and but they're literally like bass loafers, you know, like old school ones. And he wears them with shorts, and he wears them with jeans, and he looks so cute in them. I love them. So I've been thinking about getting a pair of those, but I just don't like wearing shoes like that have a back on them, in all honesty, because they're just not super comfortable. But I have gotten a couple pairs of shoes from ASOS that are like cute, and they are kind of comfortable. Actually, I have a pair of loafers that I got that have tassels on them, but that one tassel fell off, so I gave those back. Alex wanted them. Alex swears, so I'm like a 10.5, and Alex is like an 11 or 11.5, and he swears that he's like a 10.5, a 10, a 10.5. I'm like between a 10 and a 10.5. Some shoes I'm a 10.5, some shoes I'm a 10, but mostly I'm a 10. And he swears he's like a 10 or a 10.5. He's not. He's an 11 or 11.5. And so he'll wear my shoes, and then he stretches them out. And so if he wears a pair of shoes, I just end up giving them to him. So this one pair of shoes that I have from ASOS, people always say to us, oh, that must be like one of the great things about being two guys in a relationship, because you can share clothes. Yeah, like, have you seen us? We're not sharing a whole lot of clothes. Like, he can fit into my clothes, but he doesn't, like, the other thing is Alex doesn't like to wear baggy clothes, so he doesn't ever wear my clothes. And I obviously cannot fit into his clothes. I could, when we first started dating, we shared a lot of clothes. Never pants, really. Well, sometimes, I guess. But because I like my pants to be like right at, I used to wear them longer, like that was kind of the trend, but now, like I would say in the last 5 or 6 years, I like them to hit like right at my like I was gonna say calf, right at like my ankle, so like kind of like a little bit above the shoe. So like on a length of shoe, I would just put it in perspective. I'm like 5.5 or 5'10.5", and I'm almost 5'11", and I wear like a 30 in a length of pant, because I like them kind of a little bit shorter. And Alex is 6'1", so yeah, I wish I would have got more of my dad's height. My dad is like he's like 6'4", 6'5". And I'm not. But, you know, my mom was 5 foot, so. What was I saying about shoes, though? Oh, yeah, I bought 2 pairs of, like, a couple years ago when we were going to Las Vegas. Some people on here will remember this, because it was, like, a huge controversy on my vlog. I think it was 2 separate trips that happened on it. The first one was Las Vegas. I bought 2 pairs of loafers from ASOS. If you guys want a website to spend some money on, go to ASOS.com, ASOS. They have so many cute things for men and women, and they have like, their prices really range. And the thing is, they have incredible sales. So I got 2 pairs of loafers. I feel like both pairs had tassels on them. I really like the tassels on the loafer, but they were kind of like modern loafers. They weren't like old school corny loafers with a tassel on them, you know what I mean, like dad loafers. But anyway, they were like really cool ones. They were from like this brand, something of London, but anyway, they're pretty reasonable for like a nice pair of loafers. Well, the one, if you remember, I wore them to Las Vegas, and we walked all over. I remember it was because we went and saw the show. That would have been 2 years ago then, because we went and saw Opium. Not Opium, that's what we saw last year. We went and saw Absinthe. and we walked from our hotel. Alex wanted to walk. So we walked from our hotel to Caesars, which, like, Cosmopolitan to Caesars is rather close, but it's still like 25 minutes. And I got major blisters on my feet. Do you guys remember that? And people would laugh because every vacation that we would go on, I would get like major blisters on my feet. Like, we went to Miami, I think, one year too, and whenever we go to Ultra, I always wear like brand new, like, high top sneakers. I love high top sneakers. And so every time, I think that year though, the last time we went, I didn't have high tops, I just had regular sneakers. But I always get blisters because I don't wear socks when I wear sneakers with them. I hate wearing socks. Last year, though, last time we went with Jason and Melissa, I remember I did wear sneakers. Or I did wear socks with my sneakers. I can see them in my head. They're like these little gray socks that I got. And I can remember it really did make a difference. But I hate wearing socks. And I'm always like, it's not going to matter. And then I get these horrible blisters, right? And then I'm complaining about it for like weeks on end. I know there are some of you out there that remember the incident with the blisters, because it was bad. It was real bad. So anyway, how did I start with all of that this morning getting up? I don't even know if that has anything to do with me getting up. So I got up today, and I could talk for hours about shoes. I love shoes. Now I'm thinking I need to get on ASOS and get some shoes. Well, first I maybe need to just wear the shoes I have, I think. I got a pair of Sperry's. Oh, well, those shoes that I bought in Dallas, those shoes I had to have. The most expensive pair of shoes I've ever bought in my entire life, I still have not worn yet. I had to have them. What are they called? Golden Goose shoes or something like that. Stupid. I don't know why I bought those shoes. But anyway, I mean, I'm glad I got them because it's kind of like, you know, to have down the road, but like, it just was stupid. Anyway. That was the stupid, like, if I had to answer the question, what's the stupidest purchase you've ever made, it would be those shoes. What would be the best purchase you ever made? Let's just talk about this year alone. The best purchase I ever made would be the iPad this year. I was just telling Alex that tonight. For like $320 or whatever, like, I use it literally every single day. I love it. And the new Keurig, I would say, was a great purchase this year. I don't use it every day anymore, but like, I make a lot of tea in it late at night. And you know, coffee, if I'm around the house and I want like a hot cup of coffee, I make that. And through the, you know, the COVID, like, it was great. I made all of my coffee in there. So that was a good buy too. There was like another thing. There was like 3 things I was thinking about today. What was the third thing that I purchased that was like a great purchase? Now I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I got up today and well, last night I finished another episode of 13 Reasons Why. You know, last season was just so much. Do you guys remember when I was watching it? It was like right as we went into like quarantine. And I can remember watching it and being like, I just wanted, do you remember me saying I just wanted to get the season over? Like, it was just like really dark and whatever. Well, this is the 4th and final season, and it is like the darkest of all 4 seasons. Like, every issue that has been an issue in the previous 3 seasons is like a total issue in the 4th season. Like, it's so much, like, it's a lot to watch. And but I find myself staying up super late, like trying to like watch an episode and get it done, you know? So I stayed up late last night and watched an episode, and then I went to bed. Tanya and I had talked about going to get pedicures, but she said that you had to have an appointment. It was by appointment only. So, so I woke up, like, why did I wake up? Oh, I think I woke up to move my car so Alex could get out. And Tanya had texted me and said that it was like at 9 o'clock that I woke up and to move my car. And she said that Because he parks in the garage and I park in the driveway, so then I have to move, like, the car in the morning. So she said that he had, or that she had gotten appointments for 5:30 today, and so I was excited about that, because that's how I got started talking about the shoe thing, because I really wanted to get a pedicure. My feet were bad. I mean, they were like bad. And, so, yeah, so anyway, so I got up, and it was late. It was like, I woke up at like 2 today, and I knew that, like, I had to get all the stuff that I wanted to get done around the house, and be ready to go by like 5:15, because I live like 15 minutes from the place that we go get our pedicures at. And Tanya and I always go get our pedicures. I mean, she goes probably more often than I do. I don't know, maybe I go every 6 weeks, maybe something like that, 6 or 7 weeks. Maybe it's not every month. There was a long time that I was going that often, but I don't think I do anymore. Well, I haven't in forever, you know. I don't know how often I go. So anyway, but Tanya and I, for years, we went like once a month together. And we would sit there and we would read our magazines and all this kind of stuff. And she would get a manicure too. So, and I would just sit there next to her and read my magazines while she was getting a manicure. So, I met her. Well, I got videos done first because I wanted to make videos. So I made a drama video, a Peterisms video. I had done a review video when I got up. Fed the dogs, got everything taken care of around the house. I'm obsessed with looking up stuff with my grandma now. So, like, this has become like an everyday thing. That I'm like on the computer looking at everything I possibly can. So, I was doing all that, and then, and then I went to meet her and one of her employees that is, like, I know too. This girl that works for her. She doesn't have many people that work for her. She has, like, 4 people that work for her. So, this girl's worked for her for a long time. She's real nice. And, so we went there, and it was like, it was like us and then one woman getting a manicure, and we had to like come in, wash our hands, we had to wear masks. So they separated us, and then they had these plastic things that went from like here down. So like all of this was separated between us and the person that was doing our feet. And then they had masks and stuff. They had like heavy duty masks on. They had masks and stuff, and we had masks. And so we sat there and got our pedicure done. And my feet are fantastic. I mean, oh my God. I just keep on looking at them. I know it's corny, but like, anyway, and I got clear gloss. I haven't got clear gloss on my feet in forever. And I was like, she was like, do you want clear gloss? And Tanya was like, get clear gloss. And I was like, okay. She was telling her employee this story about how one time, it was right before I was getting passport pictures. I told this on here one time. I was super, super heavy. And I mean, I'm super heavy now. So I was like close to where I'm at now. And, Tanya was like, get your eyebrows waxed. And I was like, no, because I've always kind of liked having bushier eyebrows. And, actually, as I get older, I wish they were even a little bit bushier. And I was like, no. She was like, come on, do it. So I was like, fine. So I had to go and get this passport picture taken that day or the next day or something. I don't remember what it was, but I remember that I had that horrible passport picture that looked like I was a potato with like these just little eyebrows. So this woman, it was I don't know how women get their eyebrows done. It is the most painful thing. It was so painful. I could not believe it. So, to this day, Tanya thinks it's the most hilarious thing. She's like, get your eyebrows. I'm like, I'm not getting my eyebrows done, Tanya. Where am I at on time? So anyway, but yeah, so got that done. I didn't stick around because they were like still working. Like the woman did me first, and there was like 2 employees like that were doing pedicures, so I got done first. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna head out of here. I still had to get my Peterisms video up. So I left and came home. Alex was doing all this car situation, which I'm still to this day kind of confused about. I can't remember. He like, his mom, I don't know where he left. I think he left the car at the dealership where, I don't understand. To be honest with you, I don't understand. But his mom brought him home so that he could do something with this car, but he's going to return the car on Saturday, and Sarah's going to go with him or take him or something. I don't know, because they're laying out with, well, I don't know if she is or not, but they're doing something with it on Saturday. So his mom helped him. She brought him home tonight. So anyway, so then when, so I got home probably about 6:30. It wasn't really that late. And my neighbor Laura has a new roommate, this girl that moved in. So, and I had seen Laura earlier today, and she was like, oh, she's like, you need to, I had seen them together, like they walk a lot. And so when I was coming in, she and another girl were walking down the street, and they were like in their bathing suits. And I said, oh, did you just go to the pool? And she was like, yeah. And I introduced myself to her, and she was like, it's so nice to meet you. And she was super friendly. And I said, is the pool nice? And she said, yeah. So I really wanted to go swimming. Now here's the deal on the pool. Are you ready for this? Now y'all, you know I like my night swims, right? So imagine how bitter I was over this. Are you ready? So they made new pool hours this year. First of all, the pool, okay? You can only have, our pool is super small anyway. Like I was having a conversation earlier tonight because I went swimming to the pool. I'm gonna talk about that. I went swimming to the pool. I went swimming tonight in the pool. So I'll tell you about this conversation I had, but apparently the code, the Indianapolis code for us to have our pool open is that 43 people can be in there. I would like to see 43 people in that pool. It would literally be, the pool would probably fall apart if you had 43 people in there. It's not a big pool. So there's all these rules for having, okay, apparently we are considered, okay, so up there tonight, the guy that runs the pool, he's like in charge of the pool maintenance in our neighborhood. He lives in our neighborhood, but like he's in charge of it. He's been in charge of it for 10 plus years. And so he said we're considered semi-public, so we have to follow the same laws and rules that the health department puts out for public pools or something like that. But we can, as far as like the health guidelines, but we're allowed, the public, that's the public part of it. The private part of it allows us to open the pool whenever we want, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, but they decided to follow all health department rules and open the pool when Marion County did. So now since Marion County pools are open, we're open. Okay. So there's this bucket when you go up there that has this, well, first of all, if you've never heard my pool stories in the past, there's like strict regulations about our pool always, okay? There's like this super huge high fence around our pool, this like wrought iron fence. And then there's this heavy duty like buzz-in system, and you have to have a card, okay, to get in. We lost our card, and they were gonna charge me like something ridiculous for this card, like $25 or something for this card. Now they've moved it up, and I saw that on the thing, because I read all the new rules tonight. It's like $250 for like a lost or missing card or something like that. But anyway, so there's like these, what are they called? I can't think of what they're called. You know, the metal, they're like round and they have a hole in the middle of them. Not bolts, but they're like thin. Do you know what I'm talking about? So there's like 43 of those in this old coffee can that's been like all cleaned up and everything, that has like ethyl alcohol in it. And you take one out, so for each person has to have one, like in the pool. That makes sense. Like that's how they're counting how many people are in the pool. So Let me tell you how many people were in the pool tonight. One, me. It was just me. And it was a little chilly at first, but then I was like really happy I went up there. I almost don't fit into my bathing suit right now, which is really depressing, but that's okay. I still went up to the pool with it about falling off my body. Do we call them bathing suits, swimsuits? What do you call it? Anyway, I don't say Speedo because it's not one of those. I've never worn a Speedo, nor do I plan to. Unless I lose 200 pounds, and then I probably still wouldn't wear a Speedo. But anyway, so the new rules with the pools, I was kind of waiting to see what would happen with it, because the board put out the notice about it, and I was kind of waiting to see what was going to happen with it. So these are the new pool hours. Are you ready? 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. is for 60 and over. Okay, because this is like trying to give people that are older time to swim in the pool, and since our neighborhood is mostly people that are older, so 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. 60 and older, which is fine because I don't ever get up at that time anyway. And then 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. is all swim. And then anybody can come, any ages. And then 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. is 60 and older again. Well, I went a little crazy because I was like, okay, now y'all know I like my night swims. We pay outrageous HOA fees. We're good, neighbors in the neighborhood. Now I can't go swimming in the pool when I want to swim. I was not happy about it. But I didn't really say anything about it except for to my neighbors on both sides. And Laura was like, I'm going swimming. She was like, she just was like, I'm going swimming. But Laura's grandma runs the neighborhood, so she can kind of do what she wants. But my other neighbors were like, just go, nobody cares, whatever. And I was like, but I'm like a rule follower, I'm like such a rule follower. And so anyway, tonight, it was like 8 o'clock, like on the dot, and I really wanted to swim. And I hadn't been up to the pool yet. And I'm like, I'm really trying to take advantage of everything this summer. My patio, the pool, I really want to enjoy everything this summer. Read outside, watch, my iPad outside, have my plants. Alex's mom was like, oh, your plants are so pretty. And Alex was like, thanks. I was like, you have not done a damn thing for those plants. Don't even be saying thanks about them. But anyway. She's so sweet. I love my mother-in-law. I seriously got blessed in having one of the most, I just can't, I don't have one bad thing. I've never had a bad experience with her. One time she told me I was late, which she's the queen of running late. But, I was like 10 minutes late. She's like sometimes like, I think the reason why Alex is so weird about being late to things is because his mother is like consistently like 30 to 40 minutes late to everything. So it's funny that like one time I was late, like we were meeting, I was helping her with like, it wasn't a video, I can't remember. Oh, she wanted to do this book kind of thing. And so I was helping her with it, come up with ideas. This was so many years ago. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like 10 or 15 minutes late. So I texted her and I said, I'm on my way. And when I got there, she was like sitting there drinking coffee. And she was like, it's not very nice to be late. And I was like, okay. But anyway, so she was at the house. So when I got done swimming, she was at the house. Alex had taken her for a drive in her Jeep, and or Alex had taken her for a drive in his Jeep, and she was having so much fun. They pulled up to the pool, and they were like saying hi, but I was talking to this other guy about his dog that had passed away because he used to walk his dog in the neighborhood all the time. The guy that like runs the pool. And so his dog had died like 2 years ago, and I was asking him when he was gonna get another dog, and he was telling me about the relationship he had with his dog. It was real sweet. It was very similar to my relationship with Pee-Pee, so we were kind of I was talking about that too. And so anyway, but Alex pulled up, and his mom was like, hola! She was like yelling. She's like, it's so good to see you. And I was like, how are you? And I love her. I feel so blessed, you know, like, Alex and I are just really, really blessed in that we both have such accepting and loving families, I think, you know, on both sides. And, okay, it stopped, and I didn't see that it stopped, so I don't even know where I'm at on time. I was, like, talking about my mother-in-law, and then I was talking about going to the pool, and then all of a sudden, like, I look up, and the camera's, like, turning off. So I probably was talking for, like, 2 minutes, or something, 3 minutes, maybe. I don't know. I was talking about how, you know, I was up at the pool and Alex's mom came up. Well, Alex came up there in his Jeep. He was giving his mom a ride, and she was like, "Hi, hola, hola. So good to see you." And, I feel so blessed. This is what I was saying. I feel so blessed. I don't know if I said this already in the one before or not, but I feel so blessed to have the families we do. You know, we have such accepting, loving families that, you know, his mom's always like, you know, you're my son too, you know, don't ever forget that. And I just feel so blessed to have such an individual relationship with her, you know. I don't know. And Alex has such a fantastic relationship with my dad and my stepmom. My dad and Alex, like, text all the time. And which is so funny because my dad is like, he texts, you know, like a paragraph, but it'd be like everything grammatical is totally correct in there. And Alex is very much like K, OMG, you know what I mean? LOL. Which is, I kind of am an in-between texter, I would say. But anyway, so I was really wanting to swim. So I put my bathing suit on, and this bathing suit that hardly fits. So it makes me so unhappy. But anyway, I didn't realize how low on gas I was. So I went up to the pool, took my little thing out, and he was in there, and this is a guy that, like, runs the pool, and, like, I don't know him well, but I know him, like, by, like, hey, like, in his name, you know what I mean? And, so I was like, I'm just gonna go in there and see what he says, and, like, if he tells me, like, to leave because I'm not 60, then I'll leave, you know? And, well, I didn't know. I mean, maybe they think I'm 60. Who knows? Everybody on YouTube thinks I'm 60, you know? And, so, my neighbor, he just turned 60, and his wife was like, just tell him that it's you. Like, you just tell, you know, if they ask you for your name, just use our name. I was like, everybody knows who I am in this neighborhood. So, but anyway, I went up there, and he was, like, spraying stuff off, like, all the chairs and the rails and everything. He said he told me what he was spraying it off with, this, like, chlorine deal or whatever. So, I got into the pool, like, he was just kind of like, hey, and I was like, hey. I, like, took my little, whatever that was called. It's called, like, a runner or something. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? But anyway, and I took it and, went and took my shirt off and stuff, and I got in the pool. I was like, oh, it's kind of cold. It's kind of cold. Anyway, he was like, don't mind me. I'm just, you know, doing this side. And he was, like, telling me what he was doing. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, thank you so much for doing this. I said, I know it's a lot of work to do the pool every year anyway, because he's, like, up and, like, you know, testing the chlorine and, you know, clean. The pool is spotless always. I mean, it's crystal clear always. And he was like, oh, no, that just goes along with the territory. He was like, I actually really enjoy it. I was like, you do? He's like, yeah. He's like, it's really peaceful. And I was telling Tanya tonight, I was like, do you ever know, like, when you're talking to somebody, like, this has happened to me so many times in my life, like, you feel like you're talking to somebody that's, like, program, like, they're in the program, like, recovery, but you can't tell, like, and you don't want to necessarily come out and say, like, you know, like, are you sober? You know what I mean? Like, I felt like that tonight talking to him. I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it was weird. He was talking about his spiritual relationship that he had with his dog, and I felt like I was listening to somebody share in a meeting. Not that, I mean, people that aren't sober could say the same thing, but it was how he was, it was like the wording he was using. I was kind of like, there's actually a meeting really close to our house. I thought about going to it a lot, but I heard it's only like 6 or 8 people. And that kind of makes me scared and nervous to go into a meeting that I've never been to that has only. I know it sounds stupid. People are like, really? I'm like, yeah, it does. I don't know why. I have social anxiety. My sponsors told me like 10,000 times. She's like, I'll go with you the first time if you want to go. I'm like, okay. But it just never happens. I think it's on Tuesday nights too, which is my home group night. So, but anyway, I was in the pool for like 2 minutes and I said, hey, listen, I said, I have a question for you. And he was like, yeah, what? And I was like, since you're in charge of the pool, because he's in charge of the rules and everything, right? Like, he, and he's on the board. And I said, I'm not 60. And he goes, you aren't. And he started laughing. I go, no. I go, I'm 48. I said, but I love swimming at night. And I love coming over. He goes, I know you're always over here at night in the summers. And I said, yeah, I love swimming at night. And it's really peaceful for me. And, this is, I don't like to swim up here during the day when there's like, a bunch of kids and families and stuff. I said, I like to just be kind of by myself in the pool and whatever. And I said, I want to be respectful. I said, and if there are people up here that are over 60, I said, I won't stay. And, I'll be real respectful of that. But do you have a problem with me coming up here if there's nobody up here? He goes, oh, no, not at all. He's like, I don't have a problem with you being up here, even if there's 1 or 2 other people up here. He said, the issue is we just don't want it to be, like 10 or 15, kids and family members up here when the primary age in the neighborhood is over 60 and people want to be able to swim, but they want to feel safe at the same time. And I was like, are you sure? So you're okay with me coming up here and swimming? He was like, yeah, absolutely. He was like, no. He was like, you just kind of like flip around. I can't remember what he said, but basically I just like to, be in the pool, just kind of like diving under and stuff. So, and then he was really nice about the whole thing. And I was like, okay. And I said, so if somebody says something, I can say something that you said it was okay. He was like, yeah. He goes, nobody's going to say anything to you. He goes, we talked about it on the board. He said that, there's going to be people that are in between that age, but if they're coming up here just have a nighttime dip or whatever, they don't care. And then we ended up talking forever, and that's when Alex and his mom pulled up, and were like waving and stuff to me. And then they went over to Sarah's because his mom hadn't seen. So Alex's mom, has known Sarah since high school because they were friends in high school. She hadn't seen Sarah's new house yet, and Sarah lives like a block and a half from us, and her house is adorable. So her mom, he took his mom over there to see the house. So I kept on swimming, and then I came home. I ran to the post office after that, I think, because I was drying my hair in the wind. I can remember I kept on looking up to So I went to the post office, and then I got to the grocery store earlier. I just got some crap to eat, more of that corn dip, potato salad, and coleslaw. I don't know what is wrong with me with these sides. And so then I came home, and Alex was warming up cachapas his mom had given him. And maybe she made them for him tonight. Maybe they went over there and had dinner after work, but I don't think so. And at that point, it was like 9 o'clock, and he and I were sitting there talking, and we talked about possibly taking a trip later this summer, depending on how things turn around. We talked about possibly Las Vegas or Miami. We're just going to have to kind of see how things go, if, the numbers are still not doing great. I mean, they're still on the rise, so we're going to have to see. I mean, we both agreed that we're not in a hurry to get on a plane and go anywhere, that if that the numbers would have to go down for us to feel comfortable doing that. One of my friends is back in town for, Chris, or Alex's friend Chris that passed. His memorial is this weekend, they're doing something for him this weekend. And so, she flew into town today. She and her boyfriend flew in from Florida. And I was looking on her Instagram story, and there's something on there about, she said she was the only one in the Indianapolis. She had her mask on. She was like, I can't believe I'm the only one that has my mask on in the airport. And I thought you had to have your mask on in the airport. I was under the impression that to get on a plane, you had to wear a mask. Am I wrong? Like, I thought I had read that somewhere. So I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. Alex and I may go somewhere. I'd like to go to San Diego. We had fun doing that, you know. There's a couple trips I would like to do, but we'll see. I'm not in a rush. I mean, if we don't go anywhere, I'm completely fine for that. But at the same time, I'm like starting to like itch a little bit to go somewhere. Everybody that I know is making plans to go somewhere. Like literally every person that I know. So I'm like, most of the people that I know are going places in July. So we'll just see. August, the problem with August is in going to Miami, it's not a great month to go to Miami because there's like a lot of heavy rains. So Alex and I talked about the possibility of maybe going to Vegas for our anniversary, like we do every other year, just kind of having to see how things go. And then possibly, if things are still going well, like it's, you know, we haven't had a return of the COVID and all that kind of stuff, that like in October, going to Miami. Because the November trips that, you know, the first one when I went and the second one that he went, it was nice in Miami still in November. So in October, if we went in like early October, end of September, although I think that's rainy season down there too, but like, you know, I don't know, we'll see. And then I definitely, you know, when Susie's feeling safer and more comfortable to do it, I definitely want to go visit Susie. Like, that's big on my list. I talked to my dad tonight because I was telling him about all this stuff that I was looking up about my grandma. You know, my dad, it's like weird. Like, I feel like my dad's memory is totally fine, but like I feel like he forgets like what he tells me. And then like every single time we have this story about my grandma, it's different. Like there's pieces that come out. And I feel like he hasn't told me the whole story. He's like, cause like tonight he was like, yeah, before your, like the week before your mom, the week or the day, he said, before your mom and I got married, your mom was like, there's something I have to tell you. And somebody actually put in the comment section below how to look up an offender in the state, like through the Department of Corrections, and I looked, and nothing pulls up, no names, and but thank you for that information. I have a feeling it's like the time period on there has to be, because like I think it would have been like probably. So, see, nobody knows. Like, it's very sketchy. My dad is under the belief that my grandma went to prison, like, after my grandfather died. Well, so he died in 49. So it would have been, like, 51 or 52, if you go by my dad. But my grandma said that wasn't true. No, my grandma. My aunt said that wasn't true, my Aunt Kathy. She said that my grandma went to prison when my mom had graduated from high school, or the year before she graduated from high school, or something like that, because she was taking care of my mom. And that was when they went to Miami, and they stayed for a whole summer. And I said, how did you afford it? And she said, I don't know. She got real upset. She's like, I don't know, probably on grandma's embezzled money or something like that. Which, how did they get to keep the money if my grandma, you know, I mean, none of it makes any sense. So anyway, but that's what my aunt said. So, but then my dad said today, when I was talking to him, he's like, yeah, your mom told me like the day before, or the week, I think it was the day before actually, there's something I have to tell you before we get married. And he said, what is it? And she said, my mom went to prison for embezzlement. And he said, I don't care. Like, that doesn't change how I feel about you or her or anything like that. My dad and my grandma were really, really close. Like, super, super close. And, like, even after past my mom being, you know, my mom and dad being divorced, like, my dad helped my grandma a lot. Like, she had a lot of medical issues, and so he was always helping her in the hospital and things like that. He was actually one of the last people to talk to her before she passed away. And so I don't know if I've told this story or not, but I don't know how great it makes anybody look, but I don't really care. My grandma went in for a gallbladder surgery, and it was kind of an immediate need kind of thing. And she was in the hospital, and she died when she was 67. You know, and you couldn't smoke in hospitals and stuff like that, obviously. But you could smoke in the grounds of hospitals back then. And so my dad went in to see her and was like, how are you doing? You ready? You know, and she's like, no, I'm scared to death. I'm not going to make it. And my grandma had severe emphysema, like bad, had it for years. And he was like, why are you saying that? And whatever. And she looked at him and she said, you and I both know I'm not going to make this. She said, it's not good. And, so she started crying and talked to my dad about how scared she was. And he sat down and he talked with her. And then she said, will you do me a favor? And he said, sure. And he said, I know people are waiting for something really tragic. No, it's not like that. But she said, I know I'm not going to make it, and all I want is one last cigarette. She was like, will you wheel me outside so I can smoke a cigarette? And my dad so we had a nurse come in and put her in a wheelchair, and he took her outside, and she smoked a cigarette before she went into surgery. And she came out of surgery, and she was fine. But then there was complications afterwards with the gallbladder. I don't know what happened. But I mean, it was real normal what happened. It wasn't like, you know, anything. It was something that happens typically, but, so yeah, my dad and my grandma were really close. And, he loved my grandma so much. But, so then tonight when I was talking to him, he was like, I was telling him about some of the stuff I found out, and he was like, that's really interesting. I was like, you've never heard that before? And he was like, no, I've never heard that. I was like, really? He was like, yeah, I've never heard that. And I'm like, And it was like, some of the stuff that I have found out is stuff that's like no big deal, right? But like, it's still interesting. So he goes, but I do know that they were like fostered out to your mom's aunt and uncle. And I go, no. He goes, they were separated and they were at different homes. And I said, no, I don't think that's right, Dad. I said, I think, because my mom always told me that they were fostered out. She would say we were fostered out, like to family members, when they were real little. And she would say, mother and daddy. Like, that's what it was always kind of weird. Like, my mom and my aunt both called their dad, because my mom would have been, she would have been 4 or 5 or 6, and my aunt would have been a year older when their dad died. And like 6 and 7. My mom always said they were like 4 and 5, but they would have been like 6 and 7. So, but my mom used to say that they called their mom mother, and they would say mother and daddy. They always called him daddy, like, because he was so, like, they were so young when he died. They would say mother and daddy couldn't afford to stay in an apartment where they were allowed to have kids. So, like, in the summers, like, during the school year, they would live in a place where they were allowed to have kids, and they would pay the difference. But, like, as they got older, they would, like, in the summers, they would stay with, like, family members and stuff. Well, my mom had always told me that. And then my dad had told me that after my mom died, that they were, like, you know, fostered out. He used the same word that she had used, fostered out. But when I said something to my aunt about it, when she and I had the conversation, the thing is, okay, I'll never forget this. We were at Sullivan's Steakhouse. It was one of my aunt's favorite restaurants. She loved to go there and have a petite filet with a scotch and soda and some asparagus on the side. They had the best cheeseburgers, and this is back in the day when I ate meat. I remember we went there, and for like early dinner, it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 5. It's just restaurants. I don't know if you guys, if it's a chain, it might be, but it looks like it would be in like New York City or something. It's real fun. And so anyway, my aunt loved it. She'd always take me there for special lunches and stuff. She actually took Alex and I there before our wedding. Like, it was very formal. She like wanted us to know that like she and my Uncle Dave gave their approval and all this kind. It was really kind of a cool situation. She welcomed Alex into the family. I mean, she had known him for a long time, but it was kind of this cool thing. So anyway, she always kind of like, they were kind of like business lunches if you went with my aunt to Sullivan's, you know what I mean? So we went there, and she said, where am I at on time now? I cannot see, because I don't want to vlog too long tonight. So we were talking, and she got real flustered. Like, she didn't want to talk about this stuff, but she had agreed to talk about it because I wanted to know the answers. The first thing she said to me was, your dad should never have told you any of this stuff. She was like, your mother and I never wanted Caroline and you to know any of these things about your grandmother. And I was like, okay. I said, Aunt Kathy, but it explains so many things that we've wondered, you know? And she's like, I understand that. She's like, but we never wanted you to think of Grandma any differently. And I was like, well, I don't think of Grandma any differently. And so then when the foster out thing came up, she's like, I don't even know. No. And I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And she was like, we weren't fostered out. She was like, we spent summers with our relatives. She goes, because Grandma worked and we didn't have, like, there was nobody to take care of us during the day. She was like, so Grandma worked, so we went and stayed with relatives in the summer. She was like, but we were in foster care, Peter. And I go, what do you mean? I said, Mom said foster care. She goes, no, we were in the foster care system. She said, I don't know the timing of it. She said when they were young, they were in the foster care system. And, so she was very upset about it. I think she said that they were separated, and so yeah, so she was, so that, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to find those records. Hell, I can't find hardly anything, you know. But so anyway, that's what she said. She said they were in foster care. Do you know, the weirdest thing for me is this, okay? Is that my mother, that was somebody that was like so adamant about the truth and, oh, I forgot all about this. I might use this tonight, this Laneige pear. The truth and, you know, all this kind of stuff. Telling her truth and being honest and all this kind of stuff. This is so nice. Because this is not super expensive either, the Laneige. They have it in different flavors, but I like the pear. That's the only one I've tried. But anyway, it's like $20. This has lasted me for literally ever. This little tip. And the nice thing about it in the summer is it doesn't melt, you know, like in your car and stuff. Because it's like, you know, in a plastic tube. Unlike the other things. So, the weird thing about it is, like, I really cannot believe that my mom made it through her entire life and never once told me. Like, never once told me anything. And not only that, but covered up other stories by, like, saying that she never went to Miami. And, hell, I don't even know if she went to, you know, she told me this whole story. I don't even know if it was true. Now, my aunt's not here to ask. My uncle's not here. My dad, like, I've asked him this, and he's like, no, she did go to Hyannisport. That she used to go to Hyannisport in the East Coast to work in the summers, or one summer or something, and she even said Grandma put like $100 bill or $20, it was like $100 bill or something in her suitcase and said be safe or something. And I'm like, that she didn't even see that she got it until she got there. But if that were the case, my grandma would have been in prison at the time. So, like, that doesn't make any sense. My mom, Unless it was like my mom's sophomore or junior year that happened and she was out by then. I don't know. Like, I don't know. And then my mom had this stepdad who I can't find any record of him anywhere. None whatsoever. And, so anyway, like he came, I think I was talking about this the other day on here, maybe I was talking to Caroline, like he came down for like Father's Days and things like that, you know, but like there's no pictures of my grandma from like the time that my mom and my aunt were, I just kind of have this weird, this vague memory of my grandma sitting in a Pi-Fi picture. I'll have to look on there and see what year that is. But then my dad, like tonight, he was going on, he was like, well, your grandma had like a meltdown. And I go, what do you mean she had a meltdown? And he goes, at the time that, you know, your grandfather died, she had like this nervous breakdown and couldn't take care of the girls. I go, I've never heard this before. He goes, well, that's why they were fostered out to your mom's aunt and uncle. I go, no, I've never heard that before. And he goes, you've never heard that grandma had a mental breakdown? I go, no, I've never heard any. You've never said that. I've never heard that before. And he was like, yeah. He was like, I can't remember. My dad thinks it's crazy that I want to look into all this stuff anyway. He's just like, I mean, like, if he, I honestly know that if my dad knew something, he would tell me. Like, I do know that, you know, like, he's not protecting anybody at this point. He's, like, the only one that's alive. He's like, I don't care, you know, like, I would tell you what I know. I just don't honestly think he knows anything. I think my mom kept stuff from him. And Caroline talked to her dad before he passed, and he didn't know anything. Like, he literally had no clue. He didn't even know that my grandma had gone to prison, supposedly, before. But the second time, and then I said that to my dad tonight, talking about the second time that she supposedly went to prison. He goes, what are you talking about? I was like, he goes, I gotta go. He goes, I'm gonna watch my nightly movie, or nightly news. I said, what are you watching? He said, my dad's so funny. He goes, every night, he goes, you know this, I watch nightly news and Law and Order. Every night. Those are like, that's what he loves to watch. My dad is like obsessed, news obsessed. He and my mother both. It's so strange. I have like no interest, you know, in like, I wouldn't say I don't have any interest. Like, I do like read a lot of news stories and stuff like that, but that I don't like sit down and watch like the evening news, you know, like every night, or CNN or whatever. Like, my dad and my mom like obsessively watched and read magazines and newspapers. My dad still does every single day. Reads like, you know, like the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal and all that stuff. I'm in a shadow, you can't see me. Stupid camera. Come on, camera. There you go. Come on. So anyway, and then I called Caroline today to tell her some of what was going on that I found. She didn't really, she cares some days and other days she doesn't care. So today wasn't like one of her big caring. She said she was really tired. She's been taking care of her husband because her husband had to have hip surgery. So, but we were talking about all this kind of stuff. And then other days, like, I'll talk to her and she's like super interested in talking about it. And she's like, well, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. So today I said, well, Caroline, I said, since you've been saying that you're going to do all this stuff, I said, here, I have all the numbers for the Department of Corrections. Oh, this is one of the things that my dad did say, though, because there's 2 women's prisons in Indiana. He said, that's when your grandma was at that place off of Rockville Road. And I go, how did you know she was off of Rockville Road? And he goes, because when we would go by there, your mom would always point. He said something like, something to the effect of, when we would go by there, your mom would always say that's where my mother was. Okay, so Indiana Women's Prison, there's 2 of them, okay? There's Rockville Road. I can't remember what the other one is called, but anyway, and that's the Indiana Women's Prison in Indianapolis. It's like the big one. So that was really specific, so I know exactly which one she was at. The problem is it's been open for 142 years, I looked, or something like that. So I hope they kept their records. Do you know what I got like so weird today thinking about it? Did you guys see the movie Joker? You know, when he goes and he gets his mother's records, like at that, like, you know, insane asylum or whatever, and he gets her medical records, and like, I don't think they're just gonna release them over to me. I just can't imagine that they would. If this camera starts going in and out, I'm gonna be real over it tonight, because I'm just not in the mood for that. I just can't imagine. I mean, unless they're public records, I don't need to know, like, I mean, I would love if they had kept... Here I'm trying to focus my camera and then it stops completely. I was saying, like, I can't imagine that they would, like, turn over, like, these specific, you know, records to me. Well, first of all, I think the Division of Child Services, which would have been I don't even know what it would have been back then, because it's changed, but it was... At one point, it was the Division of Child and Family Services, DCFS. Yeah, that was when I was getting my master's degree. And then it was DFS, Division of Family Services, and now it's DCS, Division of Child Services, I think. I think that's how it changed. Before that, it was called something else. So who knows, you know, like, what it was called when my mom and my aunt would have been in foster care. If anybody knows about this, like, seriously, if any, and not just like I read an article, but like, if you work in the field and you know how to attain records or something like that, would you please email me at petermonbusiness@gmail.com and say, hey, like, and put in the title, like, you know, vlog information or something, and just say, hey, listen, I worked for the DFS for, you know, or DCS for 20 years, and like, they're never going to give you your records, or this is how you know, like in our state, this is how you find out about them. If you guys know, I would be really interested. Because I would have to think that if my grandma went to prison before my mom was 18, there would have been some record of it on my mom. And it's going to be easier for me to get the records for my mom than it is going to be for my grandma, if that makes sense. Like, because I have her death certificate and her birth certificate and things like that, so I can go and get that information and request it as the next of kin, but I don't know as my grandma that I'm going to be able to do that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I have all these numbers written down of all these places to contact: Marion County Health Department, Marion County Recorder's Office, all these different places to find information. So I did find my grandfather's obituary. This is interesting. I don't know why I didn't happen just to think about this sooner. So I found his obituary. I've never Googled anything about him, and all this stuff came up. So I found his obituary, which has the address. This is what I was telling. This is one of the pieces of evidence. This is one of the pieces that I wanted to tell Caroline first before I shared it on here, because I thought it was cool. But it has on there the address that they lived at, that my mom and my aunt and my grandma lived at. Oh, this is what I was telling my dad today, that they lived at when my grandfather died. And my dad, when I told my dad that, though, he immediately said, he goes, your mom didn't live there then. And I said, what do you mean she didn't live there then? And he goes, your mom didn't live there. He goes, she lived with another family member at that time because they couldn't afford to keep more than one child. Then that's when we got into the whole discussion about fostering out. And I go, what are you talking about? I said, Mom used to tell me stories about when her dad died and them wearing these little dresses, and they didn't go to the funeral. My mom said she remembered that they said that they were too young to go to the funeral, and, you know, all this kind of stuff. And he was like, your mom didn't live with them when she died. I was like, okay. He was like, your mom and grandma lived, or your mom and aunt lived in separate houses at that time. So, but it has got me asking my dad, like, a lot of questions about his side of the family, of which I know a lot of. Because when you grow up, you know, he's the youngest of 5. And so, like, we were talking tonight, and he was telling me some stories and stuff like that about... So, my last name is actually not Monn. I know this is going to sound crazy, but my grandfather, my dad's dad, was an infant, and his family was in a house fire, and the whole family died in the house fire except for my grandfather, who they threw from a 2nd-story window. And so my grandfather was an infant when he was adopted. And so my last name is actually not Monn. I do know the whole history of that. But that stuff's private, so I'm keeping that to myself. But anyway, so like if you trace like my family, okay, so like my aunts and uncles, well, not my uncle because he's passed, but my aunts, like my dad's sisters, they've been obsessed with this stuff since I was a little kid. And they would talk about like my grandfather's like adoptive family and his biological family, because they knew a lot about both. And because it was like a big story in like northern Indiana, what had happened with this house fire and stuff like that. And somebody's texting me, I can't see who it is. So anyway, somebody's texting me at 4:55 a.m. It better be good. That's called being in recovery, I'm just gonna tell you, okay? But anyway, I kind of love those late night calls sometimes from some of my friends that are like, can't sleep and they just need somebody to talk to, you know? It's like the ever-evolving motion of, you know, recovery. So anyway, I'll pull over here. There's no place for me to pull over right now. So when I get up here, I'll pull over and see what's going on. But anyway, because like tonight, I was asking my dad some questions and stuff. He was like, you need to talk to your aunts. He was like, you know, they are obsessed with this stuff. He was like, they would love to talk to you about it. And he was like, I don't even remember the names. I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, because I said, I said, do you remember, you know, like your grandparents' names? And he was like, no. I was like, what do you mean, no? He goes, I don't remember. He goes, Peter, I'm going to be 80 this summer. He goes, no, I don't remember their names. He goes, but your aunts will. He goes, your aunts remember all of it. And I said, well, I do remember that, like, your step grandma on your mom's side, because she had a really funny name. And he goes, oh my God, he started laughing. He goes, how do you remember that? And I said, because I can remember all of my aunts talking about her when I was growing up. And he goes, oh my God, he goes, I can remember one time, he said, grandma fooled me because I had to go to the dentist and I was scared to death of the dentist. And so they told me I was going to visit her. And he goes, and I hated her, but I hated the dentist more. Because she was real mean to us, his step grandma. And he said, we got to her house and then they tricked me and took me to the dentist instead. And he said it was the worst day of my life because I had to see her and I had to see the dentist both in one day. She keeps on texting me. I can't see. I said she. I don't even know who it is. So anyway, he was so funny. But he was telling me, and then my grandma's family, he said, your grandma's family came over straight. He was like, my grandparents on your grandma's side, he goes, I don't remember their names and stuff, but he said they came over from Germany. He was like in like late 1800s, early 1900s. He said, we used to, when we were growing up, he goes, we used to go to, he goes, when we were real little, we would go to 2 different church services. We would go to a German service and we would go to, an English-speaking service. But he said that was when he was really young. And then he was telling me stories because my grandfather was in World War II. My grandfather was actually on the ground in World War II. He drove a truck. And he was in the military. So... oh, I need to pull in here and see what this text is about. It might be something I need to talk about. Or it might be somebody I need to talk to. Dream. Look at all the people at Planet Fitness so early. Proud of you. Get your work in. I'm gonna have a donut. Anyway, look at all these people. I'm so proud of them. Get their work in. Get your workout done. Come on. Anyway. I should go in there, shouldn't I? Oh my God, they're not even open yet. They're sitting here in their cars waiting. Are you crazy? Give me a break. Anyway, these people. Oh my God, there's so many people waiting in their cars. Now, listen, I have waited for Hardee's to open before for a Beyond Meat breakfast sandwich, but I haven't waited for a gym to open in my life. Anyway. Okay. I do need to talk to him in just a couple minutes. So I'll get back on the road. On the road again. And then I will finish my vlog. This guy is like heavy duty. Tattooed all over the place. Major muscles. Big long beard. He's texting me again. Okay, cool. I think I need to be of this life is what I need to be. I think instead of like eating late at night, watching 13 Reasons Why, and complaining about how the only shoes that fit are my plastic sandals, I need to be at the gym. I think that's what my life needs to be about, is the truth of the nature all day long. Look at this person, it's so like me. They're driving around McDonald's like, it looks open, but it's not open. They're like driving around the McDonald's. Is it open? They're like, it's open. It looks open, but there's nobody in there. I thought I just heard my camera beep. Was there a beep? Am I losing my mind? I'm looking at it, it's still recording. The battery's half though, so it's gonna die here in a second. So I am gonna get off here though now, because I'm gonna get off here a little early. I did my 2-hour vlog the other day. Were you thankful for it? No. No, I'm joking. Anyway, I need to get gas. That's what I need to do. I need to go and get gas someplace, because I'm like, oh my God. Dunkin' Donuts, should I? Should I do a Dunkin' Donut? Are they open already? I wonder if they are. Have I ever had that Beyond Sausage Biscuit from Dunkin' Donuts? If I haven't, I could review that late at night. My Lord. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here now, so if you made it this far in the vlog, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching tonight. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. And also leave a comment in the comment section below. If you really liked it, leave a blue heart for the please make sure that you're still subscribed to this channel. And if you haven't subscribed before, why not? Please subscribe to this channel. It's free. And subscribe to all of my channels. It's free. And then it makes me happy. Even if you don't watch those channels, it makes me happy. So anyway, don't you like to make somebody happy? Don't you? Don't you wish your girlfriend looked... Anyway, enough of that already. So, yes, and then if you want, leave a blue heart in the comment section below for all of the OG Woofpeckers. You know what? I looked through there the other day when I said, there weren't a lot of people that made it to the end of the vlog, because I said, put any kind of blue emoji in the comment section below, and there were very few blue emojis. I said, whatever you want to put, just put it in the comment section below. I didn't see a lot of blue emojis that night. So anyway, that means a lot of people aren't making it to the very end. Okay, there might be some notes that you need to take at the make at the very end. So I'm gonna, in a second here, I'm gonna give you a quiz, and then we'll see who makes it to the very end of the video, okay? And there will be a magic word at the end of the video that everybody has to use in a sentence, and then if I'm looking in the comment sections and there's that word is not in there, but I know a couple of you really do watch it every night to the very end, so this will be kind of funny. So if you don't know the story of my friends, I've told the story on here before, I'll tell it again. I actually did an entire video on my Peter Monn channel. Just search Peter Monn Pink Tutu and it comes up. But they made me go to our friend's house that was a not very nice house, and like by not very nice, I mean it was extremely dirty. And so when I was ready to go, all I had to do was work the words pink tutu into a sentence. And so at the end I go, pink tutu, pink tutu, pink tutu, because I had to get out of there. So anyway, that's what we'll do at the end of the vlog from now on, is you have to work a word into a sentence, and we'll see what people say, okay? So anyway, I hope you guys are having, but also you can leave a blue heart in the comment section below if you're an OG Woofpacker or just a new Woofpacker, and that means people just trying to get by every single day, one day at a time, with each other's help, sending positivity out there in the world, being supportive of each other. And so what is tomorrow? Oh my God, it's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. I hope you guys are having an amazing Friday, unless you have other plans. But like I always say, don't have other plans. Make the most of your day. Do something fun today. Do something exciting. Start a new book. Start a new movie. Start a new TV show. Get outside if you can. Do something, fun. Do something, take, a healthy risk. And Also, do something that will make yourself proud when you look back on it tomorrow or the next day or the next week or a month from now or a year from now or a week from now, month from now, year from now, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 60 years, 69 years, family friendly, 80 years from now, 100 years from now. Just do something that will make yourself proud, you know? Put some positivity and kindness and love and compassion out there in the world. And do something for yourself. Do something that will make you proud for yourself and your life when you look back on it. And yeah, if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Make sure that you look at yourself in the mirror every single day and you say, I love you, and at least one positive affirmation, like you are valuable. And when you get up in the morning, look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, and at least one positive affirmation, like you are valuable. And before you go to bed every single night, say to yourself, tomorrow is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day tomorrow. I'm going to laugh, I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance, I'm going to be productive, I'm going to get a lot done tomorrow. But I'm also going to really enjoy my day and, you know, sing and dance and laugh, like I said, and I'm going to have, you know, really great opportunities come my way and really positive experiences. But if my day gets off track and I'm a little down or a little negative, I can start my day over whenever I want. But it's also okay to feel your feelings. Don't forget that. You know, you're allowed to feel your feelings, but just remember, feelings aren't facts, so don't live off of them. Allow yourself to feel the feeling and kind of move through it. And when you wake up in the morning, say to yourself, today is going to be an amazing day. I'm going to be happy, joyous, and free all day today. I'm going to laugh, I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance. Great opportunities are going to come my way. I'm going to have positive experiences all day today. It's going to be just a really great day all the way around. And if my day starts getting off track or I'm going to start getting a little bit negative or down, I can start my day over whenever I want. But like I said, allow yourself to feel your emotions as well. And what else? Most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. Just pick anybody and just reach out and say, hey, I just wanted to let you know I was thinking of you. And it can be, you know, your mom, grandma, your neighbor, anybody. Big Bird. Probably not Big Bird. But, you know, just anybody. Maybe pick somebody that you haven't talked to for a while. Just look through your phone and be like, oh my God, I haven't even thought of this person for a while. Just send off a message. Hey, I was just thinking of you today, you know, some old memory, and then text them, you know, and be like, hey, hope you're well. And something, this made me think of you or something, you know. Also practice random acts of kindness, but like I always say, don't tell anyone. Just do it to put goodness out there in the world. Just do it to be a kind person and to be loving and compassionate and kind and to put all of that out there in the world, you know, to be a good person. And let's pick a word that you guys have to work into a sentence to see that you made it to the very last minute. Okay, I don't know why this word came to mind, but you have to use the word hourglass. Or is there an hourglass emoji? Or you can just use the hourglass emoji. If not, you have to work the word hourglass into a real comment, okay? But you can't say, I watched this entire video hourglass. Like, you have to say, you know, like, I had an hourglass when I was a kid or something like that, okay? You can say whatever. Oh my God, the battery's flashing at me now. It's like, this is stupid, so it's flashing at me. And the sun comes up. The sun is coming up, look. So anyway, I am going to get off here now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, I hope you're having an amazing Friday. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!